Welcome, welcome, everybody. It's the very first Coffee with Clients of 2023. Aren't you excited? I have been, and our team that has been preparing for this, we have been so excited to be here with you today. I know a lot of us at the top of the year, that in that week between Christmas and New Year's, we're always like setting goals. Well, if you set a goal to be here today on this Coffee with Clients, you are already winning for 2023. So excited. So today we've got just an amazing episode. We're so glad that you are here, and we just hope and pray it's going to be super encouraging for you as you're working on your goals. Now, today, after we have some really special things to share with you, we're going to be covering element 4. So if you have your life book, and you've already gotten that and you're already well digging into that, grab that, go to element 4. We're going to be covering those part of that element this week. I don't think we'll get to all of it. They'll probably pick up with it at the next episode, but we're going to crack open element 4 and we're going to really help you with our mindset, having a healthy mind. So covering some really good stuff on that. But I wanted to introduce to you, they don't have to come off mute or anything and share right now, but I wanted to tell you who our folks are that are joining us today. So my co-host today is the amazing Joy Hotchkiss. You're going to get to meet her later. She's a client in our organization and my team, and I got to know her, helping her work on her health journey. And then she started helping others too. So she's got an amazing story and she's going to share with you today and help me teach element 4. And then the awesome and incredible Wayne Pendle. You got to put a 1 in the chat for Wayne Pendle. So he has something super special to share with us today. Wayne, come off of mute and help us begin this awesome episode today.
Oh my goodness, Liz, thank you so much. What an honor and privilege it is to start the new year in this amazing community. You know, that's the thing I love most about Optavia, is that we get to do this together. We are better together. And Liz, I have loved getting to know you and Clint and Joy. I heard your story just a couple days ago, and you all can't wait for Joy's story. It's amazing. And her name goes with the way she lives life. And I love that. So I want to say congratulations again to all of you for being here. Listen, I love element 4. So if you do not have the life book, go get the life book. Go to Amazon, go wherever books are sold, go to habitsofhealth.com, Dr. A site, and buy it. I will tell you that what I found along my journey, Courtney and I will be entering our 7th year as clients and as coaches with Optavia. And one of the things I found, and Liz and Joy are going to talk about this, if we don't get this healthy right here, everybody point to this right here. Take your 2 fingers. Come on, everybody, unless you're driving. Okay. And then you should not be on camera anyway, right? So it is getting our mindset healthy. The stomach happened in 4 months. The mindset is still going on 7 years later, but I love the fact that Dr. A gave us some simple tools. So I thought I would start the year with a video from Dr. A himself. Hello, Dr. A on Coffee with Clients. Give me a break. This is awesome, right? What a great way. And here's what he's going to talk about. This idea of emotional agility. How we respond to the crazy world around us. And I love the fact that if you're loving the simplicity of the weight loss phase, you'll love the simplicity of the technology he's put in place to get our mindset healthy. So let's watch it. It's about 6 minutes long. So you guys hang in there. I know we're used to 6-second TikToks, but you get a 6-minute Dr. A. It's worth it. I'll come back and make a 30-second point, and then I'll pass it back over to Liz. So turn your sound up on your phone or your computer, and let's enjoy the man himself hosting Coffee with Clients along with us today.
Emotional agility is kind of looking at it as a river. On one side is rigidity, on the other side is chaos. And that's how most people manage their life. They're either rigid in their thinking. The world has to be this way or I'm not satisfied. Or on the other side, chaotic in that I'm just going to react to whatever happens around me. And both those sides create a lot of turmoil, a lot of suffering and pain. In the middle is the window of tolerance, and that's what emotional agility is. So the lack of emotional agility puts us in this situation where we're no longer in power. We actually are giving it by being the victim to someone else. And as soon as that happens, we totally disconnect from the ability to help ourselves. So first, taking it back is so critical. So emotional literacy is about understanding our emotion. It's not denying our emotions. I know I came from an Italian family, and as a jock growing up in high school, we never wanted for a guy to cry. Well, all that stuff is harmful. When you feel something, if something sad happens, you should cry. Being tough and keep it down inside does nothing but cause problems later. The need for your emotions to be expressed is very important. It's when we take those emotions, internalize them, deny them, project them, and no longer know how to deal with them, they then become kind of stuck in our craw, and then they create dysfunction. Because the things happening outside of you are not the things that cause the troubles. The things inside you, when you take it personal, when you don't realize and recognize the world is just happening, the world is the way it is, when you start thinking the world has to be a certain way, that's when all the troubles come. So the first step is for us in emotional management and emotional agility is to be able to understand that stuff's gonna happen. It's gonna push our triggers. It's how we respond to it that determines the outcome, and that determines everything in your life and in your health. Emotional literacy means that we're actually starting to understand and study our emotion. Cool thing you can do is just, what am I feeling? What emotion is that? Am I fearful of something? Am I hopeful of something? Do I have joy? All those are important, but to recognize them, you start the journey towards emotional literacy. It's when we understand our body is a beautiful thing, and when it's coherent, when your physiology and your emotions and your thoughts are all in synchrony with each other, it's like a beautiful ballet. But when they're discord to each other, when one of them's off, it affects everything. So emotional literacy is first learning your emotions, being able to identify them, and then understand how to release them so they don't get caught up like coils that are pushed down inside where I'm not gonna feel grief, I'm not gonna feel betrayal, I'm not gonna feel those things. No, we need to address them and let them come up and let them naturally flow their course. And then we can get back to the reality, which is the reality of living. And the reality of living is not let your human predicament dominate you in your emotions and in your thoughts, but actually allow you in this area to plan your future, the things that are important, and put yourself daily in position to now take control of my emotions, my thoughts, and understand they don't define me. I define me. That's the key. So as we talk about this technology, I think back in my life. Most people probably would think, oh, Dr. A, you've got this amazing life and it's been handed to you. It hasn't. And I've had things happen to me that have been tough. A little over 4 years ago, I lost my wife. Totally unexpected, she's in great shape, and she just had a cardiac arrhythmia and went. And that could have been devastating. And it's certainly, I still today, you see my emotion. By the way, the emotion I'm having now is when I think about her. She was so critical to my life. But I've also know that I had to pick myself up and move on. And I can tell you this technology's been brilliant. Yeah, I'll have thoughts, things will remind me, and I'll have a moment of sensing that feeling and feeling a little sad. But the reality is, I'm thriving in my life. I've never been happier in all the other aspects. And I'm basically working and doing the things I want. I'm succeeding on that pathway, recognizing that stuff happens in our life. So when people say, oh, well, you don't really understand, I do understand. I can't think of anything more devastating than what happened to me. I don't feel sorry for myself. I feel as a tremendous obstacle and something I've grieved, that it's a way for me to grow. And I know this technology's helped me. I know that if I didn't have it, wasn't on this path, it would have been a lot harder. The same thing for you. There's a lot of stuff that we can let catch in our craw and really sabotage our ability to function at the highest level. This technology will help you understand that we have no or very little control over anything outside of us, but we have full control inside. To go on this journey of self-exploration, learning emotional agility, learning to be able to step back and be conscious and be the witness of what's happening around us, and understanding that includes not just the physical world, but also our thoughts and feelings in the mental world. That's the beauty of this technology. It's helped me tremendously, and I know it can help you. So do this for yourself, do this for your family and your friends, and come with us on a journey of exploration to become more conscious of ourselves and the world around us.
Well, it's hard to follow the man himself, and I've had the privilege of hugging his neck and spending time with him. But I will tell you, I love the fact that we have a leader of this company that feels what we feels, and yet made the decision when he could have 4 years ago to hang it all up. So I want you to do this, make a little circle with your hands, again, unless you're driving. Okay, and I want you just to expand it outward. Now, Dr. A did that illustration with me several years ago, and I said, what is it? His name happens to be Wayne also. I think all cool guys in the world's first name is Wayne, but Wayne said to me, he says, listen, I want you to expand your aperture. In other words, if you see Optavia as diet food, you will have a very small view of it. But look, notice he didn't mention anything about the fuelings. He talked about emotional agility, our mindset, making decisions from our prefrontal cortex here and not in the back part, right? That's what Element 4 is all about. And once I expanded my aperture, the value of Optavia, knowing this was going to give me the tools for lifelong transformation, as someone that's 7 years in, I can tell you, it is because I went on this pathway of discovering how to stop, challenge, and choose, and be able to choose a better path. So with that, I thought it was a great way to start the new year with Dr. A. So Liz, thank you for letting me share. I can't wait to hear from you and Joy about how we can practically apply what Dr. A was talking about. Thank you.
You are welcome, Wayne. That was beautiful. I'm so glad you suggested it, that we do this video today. You can put a 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the chat if that really impacted you. Hearing Dr. Anderson's life story and the challenge that he came. And that is why we are doing these coffee with clients, why our amazing, my amazing coach, Karen Schatzline, she's my personal coach, why they felt so impressed to start this coffee with clients is to teach us, to lead us how to overcome challenges in our life that affect every area of our life. Nutrition is at the top of that, and that's why we're here today. So we're going to get rolling into our teaching segment of Coffee with Clients today, and we are going to be discussing or sharing with you how Element 4 has impacted our life. Now, at the end, we want to hear some wins, okay? And so if you know how to use Zoom, there is a place at the bottom on the little task bar of your little Zoom app that you're in right now. You can raise your hand if you would like to share a win that happened to you coming through the holidays, how you conquered the holidays, how you came out shining and at your optimal weight, or you had some other wins, or you were still in your fat burn. And you want to share that with us, or some enlightenment that happened to you as you conquered something. Maybe it wasn't all perfect as you wanted it to be, but if you want to share a win, that's the only requirement. You'll put your little hand up, and if we have room and time, we will let as many of you share as possible after Miss Debbie shares her testimony. So today, as we dive into Element 4, I kind of want to give you an overview of what Element 4 is. It is all about your mindset. And it is about how we are either open to change or we are closed to make any changes in our life. And then also it is about how we respond. How are we responding to situations and life? Just as so eloquently as Dr. Anderson shared, how are we processing these changes and what are we doing with them? And then also, how are we executing these changes in our life and long-term becoming better and not staying the same? So that's what Element 4 is all about. And so I wanted Joy to kind of kick us off today with the teaching on the drama triangle. That is, we're going to show a graphic of that. She's going to share a little bit about her story and how this program has impacted her and how she has applied it to understanding the drama triangle. So Joy Hotchkiss, come off of mute, and we are excited to hear from you today.
Thank you, Liz, for allowing me to share. And thank you, Pat and Karen, for this wonderful, coffee with clients. It's been such a blessing to me, and I know it's a huge blessing to others. So today I want to share with you about the drama triangle. And the drama triangle is where most people get caught up, okay? It's an unconscious reaction to the negative things that happen in our lives. So we blame our surroundings, others, ourselves for our current state. And that makes us become closed and defensive and consumed with being right all the time. Okay, so after hearing that, I'm sure every single one of you just pictured someone in your life who is a perfect example of being closed, defensive, and always wanting to be right? I know I did. But I don't know what your background is, but I grew up on the Bible. And some of you also might know that scripture that talks about, taking that speck out of your own eye before you go after a plank in someone else's. So I really want this time to be introspective. Use this time to take a look at yourself, because after all, we cannot change others. We can only work on ourselves, and that is our desire. Well, God is so good that he gave me a fresh example of the drama triangle just last night. It's kind of like praying for patience. You pray for patience and you get lots of opportunities to practice it, right? I felt defeated. I could have just dove into my old habits of getting into the big old ice cream bowl and just having, a chow down. But I took a step back, I processed, and I grabbed my chocolate pudding fueling, and I enjoyed that before bed last night. And I may or may not have added extra whipped cream, but we don't need to talk about that. So we are all human. And as we're working on becoming better versions of ourselves, we are going to be challenged. When we're faced with something hard, we always have a choice to respond if we're conscious of that, okay? Dr. A, which I love that video, and I love Dr. A, he's the real deal. He calls it living above the line. If I'm living above the line, I choose to be open and curious and ready to grow and learn from challenges. Our natural tendency, though, is just go into automatic mode. When tough stuff happens, we dip below that line. We want to be right, which makes us defensive and closed off from growing and learning. When we dip below this line, we find ourselves right in that drama triangle. We become either the victim, the villain, or the hero. Most people play the victim and they wonder, why is this happening to me? Some choose to be the villain and just blame others for their circumstances. And then there's the hero, which that sounds pretty good, right? We all want to be a hero. The heroes swoop in and they save the day. But being a hero is exhausting. They avoid conflict, they hate pain, and they enable others by drifting right into their drama. So all of these things, this drama triangle, it leads us to a state of unrest and anxiety. And as we continue to live in this highly stressed state, it takes a toll on our body and our mind and our overall well-being. We don't want to stay here, because staying here is what leads us to make those unhealthy choices that are not in our best interest. I spent too much of my life living in the victim area of the drama triangle. Anybody remember that song? What about me? It isn't fair, right? I've had enough. I want my share. Everything in my life was happening to me. And then I, grew up a little, and I started realizing that everybody has stuff. The more we talk with people, the more we relate to people, we realize that everybody's got stuff that isn't fair. Just in this Zoom room alone, many people this week have received bad news. They've shed some tears. They've been wronged, and it isn't fair. See, I have a neurological disorder that came on quite suddenly in 2009. It affects my ability to function at 100% some days. And most people would never know. But on bad days, my head hurts, It's very heavy. It's hard to keep it up. And on those days, often I need a cane to even get across the room. The doctors say it's some kind of dystonia, but there's hundreds of kinds. They don't understand how it works, and there's no cure. So I just roll with the days as they come. And trust me, I've tried everything to control this, to be healed, to claim my healing. I've shed many a tear as a victim of my circumstance, but it's only been in complete surrender to God that He's revealed that His power is perfect in my weakness, and that I just have to take every day as it comes. You know, we can find ourselves not just being a victim, but moving through this drama triangle with the people that are closest, those nearest and dearest in our lives. We shift to the blame game, and then we want to be the hero, and we want to swoop in and we want to sweep it under the rug, and we want to just, you know, enable those people to keep going, right? So what do? We need to choose, make a conscious decision to move to the empowerment triangle. Wayne, could you put up that slide for our empowerment triangle? You get to decide, is life happening to you, or is life happening for you? Okay, because when we place the blame on others, we give away our power and our surrender, all of our control. We have to decide, we get to choose that we are the dominant force in our lives, and we can take back our power, and we can choose to create a new story. It might not be the story that I thought it was going to be, but it's going to have a beautiful ending. You can use your challenges to learn and grow rather than just blaming others. Challenges now become the way to grow. You might have heard many times in the Optavia community, the obstacle is the way, because we all have obstacles, right? When we respond to others, we can learn not to just drift into their drama. We can choose to empower others rather than enable them to stay stuck in that drama triangle. So, as my grandmother would say, you can take those lemons and you can make lemonade. You can start to tell yourself that obstacles are going to help me get better. I choose to be open and curious to learn. I'm in charge of what happens. I'm creating my new story. I help others get better, and I empower others to be successful. You know, one of the things I found taking care of my physical body and shedding all this extra weight, cut off 33 pounds over a year and a half now, and getting the great nutrition that my body needs helps me to function at my absolute best. If I can strengthen my muscles and stay active, it's going to help me have a better future. This is why I absolutely love our program and our community, and I have a passion to share this gift with others. I'm choosing not to be a victim of my circumstances, but instead I'm living each day with the daily bread that He alone provides. Trust me, not all days are perfect. And as a human, of course, I tend to have the tendency to dip below the line, but I make the conscious decision to choose joy. My parents named me Joy for a reason. So when I trip going up the stairs or I trip over flat surfaces, I often wish they would have named me Grace. But seriously, I seek out joy in this journey that I have been given. And you know, when we choose to make these decisions, you can too. Thank you, Liz, for letting me share about the drama triangle.
That was incredible and such an awesome way to kind of display the whole capsule of Element 4. Joy, you did amazing. I'm so proud of you, and everyone on here, I want y'all to know, yes, drop some love in the chat. I've watched her evolve in her being one of her coaches, being on her health journey with her. And she said, as she shed the pounds, and she has stayed so true to her program. She was determined and focused on her goal. Shedding the weight has made the biggest difference in, you know, we lightly call it a diagnosis. We don't want to, you know, capture it and keep it forever, but she just has transformed beautifully and it's just so much more manageable. I was able to spend some time with her in Mexico, And we just had an amazing time and just would never know that she struggles with this because she comes out with joy, just like her name says. So I hope that understanding the drama triangle has really helped you to take a deep dive into your element 4 and to really understand how important it is to understand our emotional responses. And so that's what element 4 is all about. And as you dive into this chapter, you'll find that we're really discovering as we're on this journey how we are responding to things that happen to us in our life. What are your responses like? So I kind of want to start this segment off by just telling you a little bit about my story. And that is when I started this program in January of 2017, I was at my heaviest at 195 pounds. And what I discovered later on as I joined the journey and I became more a part of the client support, and I started listening to some client support Zooms that took place back then. And I realized that I was very responsive with food. And that in my quest for becoming healthier and shedding the weight, it wasn't about sacrificing, starving myself, doing all those fad diets. But what was I doing every day to hydrate and feed my body? And I would reach for things that comforted me. And so now, as you've already heard on the drama triangle and what we really discuss here in element 4, and as you deep dive into it for yourself, because in the life book, you're asked questions that only you can answer. Nobody can answer. But what we are discovering is how are we responding to all of the different things that happen to us in life? And it's not just about food. We will see it in other areas of our life. But since we are all here kind of for the same reason, for, conquering these health issues and losing the weight, I'm just going to be really kind of ballpoint focused on that part. But I don't want you to leave out all the other areas in your life that we respond to, as Joy so eloquently described. So we kind of have to understand, and Wayne, if you don't mind putting up that graphic for us, we kind of have to understand how we think. What is our mindset? Are we closed and defensive? And do we want to be right? Are we always right? We don't want to have to change. We're not willing to accept other ideas. So since I only know me the best, I'll talk about me, that girl at 195 pounds when I started this journey. I basically was very closed. I was laughing with Karen the other day on the phone, and I didn't want to talk to her. My husband was kind of leading the thing. He told me what to order. This is what we were going to do. I didn't want to talk to Karen. I didn't want anybody messing with me and myself. I thought I could fix it on my own, and I was right. But so I want you to think about that wherever you are on your journey. Are you closed? Do you listen to your coach? Do you, are you willing to take advice from them? Or are you open and curious? And are you listening and asking the questions that will help you get farther in your journey? I've been coaching clients for close to 5 years now. And, when I'm talking with clients, I can always tell when they're ready for my advice or they're, just kind of walled up. So I want to help you today to be open to what your coach is, what the journey that they're leading you on, because they're only going to lead you to get your best results. Okay. What do you need to make some adjustments in, right? So first, today, identify, are you closed or are you open? And then I want to bring up that next graphic, and I want to talk about just our overall responses in life. When I started this journey, and I'm still back there at 195 pounds with that gal, standing at the coffee pot, I remember specifically, it was on day 6 of my journey. And my husband had been kicking it all first 5 days of the program. and I could already tell he was losing weight. He needed to lose about 80. And there I was standing at the coffee pot. I had just a really stressful day the day before. Prior to being a full-time health coach, I was a counselor in our ministry, and I usually, averaged about 7 to 8 hours of counseling in the ministry office most days. And so I'd had a very stressful day, and I was, I had a day off that day, and I was just on day 6, and I was just kind of loathing in myself. And there I was standing at the coffee pot, and I put 1, 2, 3, and I'm on program, y'all, 4, 5 spoonfuls of sugar in my coffee. If my coach knew, she would have fell out. And so, and I wondered why I didn't have great, results on my first week. So I want to ask you, do you automatically respond to stuff in life like a lizard? Do you just, automatically just make a decision on a whim? I'm going to do this, or I deserve this. Or do you make emotional, decisions like a Labrador? Are you like emotionally trying to decide what to do? Are you kind of mulling over that? Or are you making human thinking? Are you making the right types of decision? Are you processing the correct way? So we've got to think about how we are responding to things in our life. Thank you, Wayne. You can take that down for right now. And so what ultimately happened to me on my journey is that I began to realize that the choices and the decisions that I was making were not getting me anywhere. Those automatic lizard responses were not getting me anywhere. I was staying the same. I was staying the same weight. I was getting the same results in life. And so I decided to change. And fast forward, everybody press your fast forward button. So little girl Liz standing there, 195 pounds at the coffee pot. She got all the way to her middle son's wedding in September of 2017. And she rocked a gold lame fitted dress down that aisle because I had lost 40 pounds because I decided to make some changes in my life. Now, I want to put that graphic up one more time because I kind of want to crack open and introduce to you something you've heard on here before, and that is stop, challenge, choose. It is something that I really try to teach my clients from the beginning, and I subtly do it sometimes because sometimes it may seem a little overwhelming when you're already in a process of quick responses. That girl standing there putting the sugar in her coffee, right? So, but I want to kind of teach you today my version of stop, challenge, choose. So as we are learning, and listen, y'all, it's a process. It's a process. I don't mean to go all preacher's wife on you. My husband is a minister, but just imagine I'm sitting there with you holding your hand and I'm saying it's process. You're going to be okay. You're not going to be perfect your first week on program. You're not going to be perfect your 30th week on program, but you're going to be better than you were your first week, right? So here is how I like to share about stop, challenge, choose. So now you're going to see, here's the thing that's happened to you in your life, the stimulus. And now instead of responding the way you used to respond, now you are going to stop, challenge, and choose. And then you're going to get the right type of response. So what if, let's go back to the girl standing there at her coffee pot on that 6-day morning. What if she stood there and she said, okay, Liz, let's stop for a second and let's think about what you're about to do and why you're about to do it. Now, I'd like for you to join this little exercise with me. Think about your most recent stimulus that really kind of was causing you to take a different track. And as you think about it, I want you to stand there and stop. Now, what if on day 6 back in 2017, if I would have said, Liz, what are you about to do? Well, Liz, I am about to put some sugar in my coffee because I deserve it. And I don't want to I don't want to taste this coffee any other way. I want to taste it the way I want to taste it. What if I said to myself, Liz, you're on a program. You're getting better. You're shedding the weight. You don't need this sugar going in your body and just giving you that little glycemic push. You need to just hang on, honey. What are you doing? And I just kind of pull back and I don't do it. And I say to myself, what is better for me? Challenge myself. What is better for me than choosing all this sugar? What's better for me is going sugar-free or choosing something that's sugar-free, like stevia or sugar-free creamer, putting it in there. Okay, so I'm going to do that. And then I choose that. And wow, I just had a win. I stopped, I challenged, I chose, and I take a deep breath and I'm like, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be just fine. You can take that down now, Wayne. That's what I wanted to give to you today. That's the gift I wanted to give to you today, that you can win over any challenges. And you know what I discovered the next time I was at the coffee pot and I was feeling that urge to come on to put all that sugar in there and numb my pain and what I felt like I deserved. You know what happens when you overcome and you don't do that? You start getting results and you start feeling better about yourself, and you don't feel so bad and you don't feel so guilty and you don't feel like you're a failure because you're winning. If you're on my team and you're one of my clients, one of the things I always say about anything you share with me that was exciting to you or you felt like you were victorious, I always say #winning. You're winning. And that's what this is all about, is those small little habits. And that's why I want to encourage you. If you don't have your life book, Wayne showed it to you earlier. Mine has a bunch of paper clips and markers in it, little, pieces of paper everywhere reminding me of things. If you don't have this, get this on your ordering site. You can find the whole book set. Is always $49.95. It's amazing. It's got Dr. Anderson's book. It has the life book. It will transform the way you think about your program out of deprivation and into abundance, that you're really getting something better than staying in that old lifestyle. So I hope that this helps. I hope this helped you. I really do. God bless you guys. And I just pray that your journey continues to be incredible and you hit all your goals. Bye.